Well, hello there. I am the Clapper Loader, and without me, there are no films. All right. Thank you for returning to my podcast. It is the middle of September, actually nearing the end of September, 2021, and usually at this time of year, the leaves are falling, it's getting cool, we're wearing sweaters, and I'm in San Diego, California, where it's hot, extremely hot, but it doesn't take away from my complete excitement for getting ready for Halloween. I love horror movies, so I'm going to stop chatting and let's get to it. This video is about the campiest. Is it campy? I don't know if it's campy. See, I believe campy movies don't take themselves seriously. They go into camp knowing it's kind of a wink, wink, nod, nod, side joke to the audience. Break fourth wall kind of thing. Wink, wink. But I don't think this movie was meant to be campy. I think it is campy, but I don't think it started out that way. I am talking about 1972. Okay? Now, I know you probably have no connection with 1972 the way I do because, yeah, I have a connection to 1972 and it's quite personal. I shouldn't go there. Okay, fine. That's the year I was born. Stop it. Stop it. I know you're going to do math. Stop doing the math. Anyhow, 1972, when we were coming out of the drive-in horror movie scene into kind of the dark noir movie scene, going into the 70s with things like The Godfather and mystery and crime films. The 70s, right? So how did some movie about some frogs end up one of the best horror movies out there? I don't mean best as in my socks were knocked off because I was scared. I mean best as in, hell no, let's sit down and laugh our butts off to this. I mean, this could easily be a Mystery Science Theater film. I don't know why they didn't do this one. This is crying to be done on Mystery Science Theater. But they never did. That's okay. Because you can do it all with your friends in the privacy of your own home. I am talking about Frogs. Guys, Frogs from 1972. This very morning, the reason why I'm even doing this podcast, I woke up and I had a splitting headache. And I'm like, oh my God, my TV was up loud. I fell asleep with it on. I woke up and guess what was playing? Frogs was playing as if to say, please talk about me on your podcast today. So I did. Now, Frogs stars Sam Elliott, who, if you are a film aficionado, somewhere in all of your film knowledge, you know Sam Elliott from the movie Roadhouse with Patrick Swayze. Okay? He was his buddy, sidekick, long hair, gray hair guy. And it also stars Joan Van Ark, which I don't know if you would know about her at this point. She was a hot actress in nighttime soaps in the 80s and 90s. And an actor named Adam Rourke, who is he's kind of like your 50s, 60s standard hot guy, from that era. But he was kind of an interesting guy. He had an interesting background. You can look him up. It also stars an actor from way back during the silver, golden age, diamond age of acting named Ray Milland, and he plays the grandfather in the film. The film also stars some character actors, Judy Pace, Lynn Borden, Mae Mercer, David Gilliam, and my favorite, Lance Taylor Sr. You have no idea who Lance Taylor Sr. is. The only reason why I even know who this guy is because I'm a huge fan of the movie Blackula. And I just remember certain vernaculars and speech patterns and people. And Lance Taylor Sr. has a specific pattern of speech that just rang and stuck in my head. And he happens to be, I looked him up and made sure that's the same guy. It is the same guy that's in Blackula. In Blackula, he plays the funeral home director. And in Frogs, he plays one of these, like the butler of the Ray Milland character. Now, why is Frogs hilarious? Well, Frogs is hilarious because it takes itself seriously. So Sam Elliott is our main character who is kind of an environmentalist. He shows up and he's, surveying the area. This area happens to be owned by Ray Milland. And this takes place during the 4th of July weekend. And apparently also Ray Milland's character's birthday. And he's very stodgy, stuck up, old school about everything. And he's got these 60s, 50s born, 60s raised, grandkids and kids that are just like, they don't really want to pay attention to what old grandpapa wants, but they do out of respect, I guess, for him. And somehow, well, you can watch the movie and find out, but, there's a clever way to get the Sam Elliott character named Pickett Smith into the whole house with the family and learning about the different characters and why they're there and what happens. Now, I think about different movies of the 70s that had animal horror. So this would be kind of one of those animal horror films. My favorite animal horror film is Dogs. I believe that's from 1976. I will also review that later. But so there was that one. There was Grizzly. I believe that's 1978. I don't recall that year, but there is a movie called Grizzly from the 70s. There is one, it's leaving my mind right now. It's about a Sasquatch, so to speak, in the mountains during a snow blizzard. That one was good. I will actually because I'm going to upload this, so I will make a pin of the names of the movies, the animal horror movies I'm talking about in this podcast for you, so you'll know. So there's those two movies, and then there's also, three. So there's Grizzly, Dogs, and then the one I can't remember the name of, because I didn't even think of mentioning it before. They did a remake of it too. I think it was a sci-fi movie, but it was really cheesy. The original is better. But then there's also one called Day of the Animals, I believe. Yeah, I believe it is called Day of the Animals with Susan Day. I want to say Susan Day George was in that movie. Again, she's one of the actresses from that era. You may not know of her name. I will discuss, and I will make sure you guys know all of the information in the message section, comment section. Anyhow, we'll get that information. So, Frogs, unintentionally hilarious. The kill count is pretty much everybody. It's like everybody, or not. We're not going to kill everybody, but when I think of Frogs, I think of Day of the Animals and what this movie was trying to. Oh, I also think of The Pack. That's also an animal horror movie from the 70s. So these animal horror movies, they kind of are like, okay, so there's some natural event that occurs or a natural event, and somehow we're going to have what's the happening. We're going to have a M. Night Shyamalan moment. We're going to have an event happen, and then we're going to have the animals react to the event. Instead of it being the wind and the happening, we're going to have animals react to and start, harassing and murdering humans because of what, done to the planet, I guess, or their habitat. That's Frogs, except that I don't think a frog killed anybody in the entire film. There was frogs, snakes, lizards, alligators, crocodiles, all kinds of things in the film. Spiders, tarantulas. I mean, there was like a lot of other things, but I don't recall seeing a frog kill anybody. So why it was called Frogs, I don't know. I saw this movie about 10 years ago, maybe a little bit longer, and I loved it because it was like I was creating more of like the suspense in my mind and to go along with the film, because I actually liked it. It was the dialogue's pretty good. The acting's good. Again, for the time, for the setting of the film, everyone's super serious. So it's like, oh my God, this could really happen. Then it's like, wait a minute. How did this person bite the dust and this person bought the farm? Oh my goodness. So I watched it again this morning. I'm shaking my head and I'm laughing, but I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the intensity of the characters and how they're like, something's happening and we don't know what's going on. And oh my goodness. And it's for the serious acting that's happening, for the wardrobe too. That costume designer, man, he had the bell bottoms and the big belts, and but they were serious, guys. They were serious about this. So again, a perfect movie for a Mystery Science Theater type review. If you guys have time to sit down, pop yourself some popcorn and watch this movie and just, talk to the screen. I found it enjoyable. It isn't one of my favorite worst movies ever. It's a guilty pleasure to watch every Halloween time. And I really hope that you enjoy it too. Again, it is Frogs from 1972, starring Sam Elliott. I would not go a Halloween season without watching it. Again, a little bit on the lighter side. There's, I don't know, some horror. I don't know if it's horror. It's kind of laughable. It's kind of fun to watch, but you will enjoy it. You will add it to some part of your list. It may be a guilty pleasure for you too, like it is for me. Frogs, 1972, starring Sam Elliott. It is available on most of your free platforms. You can pretty much find it anywhere for free to watch. So you have to pay for it. You can just enjoy a goofy movie for free at my suggestion. So on that note, I'm going to go because I have other movies to talk about. We got to talk about Halloween. Halloween is coming up, guys. So I made my list today of all the Halloween podcasts I want to do for the month of October. And there are 20 movies, all of them from the 70s. All of them are horror. And it didn't even include this one. So this one's kind of like a bonus up front. You are going to enjoy the movies that I have selected to talk about for Halloween. They are absolutely nuts. They are probably not even on your radar. If you are a younger film fan, you may not even have heard of these films. If you're an older film fan like me, I'm quite sure you've at least seen them once on cable, run across them. But these films are my absolute favorite Halloween films to watch from the 70s. I will also go into my 80s ones as well as my 90s ones, 2000s and 2000 teens. And then from there, I may go back and do some 60s and 50s, kind of like a mishmash. But we're going to get to all of the major film decades, starting with the 70s, because that's my boo. 70s are my boo. Right. So thanks for joining me, guys. I'll be back next time talking on more horror films for Halloween. And we're going to go through that list of 20 horror movies from the 70s you've probably never even heard of. Or if you have, probably not even seen. And most of them are going to be free for you to watch. Now, you must remember something. You know me. I am the clapper loader. Without me, there are no movies.